Hey, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is PoppinCulture Movie Reviews. My guest today is comedian Ryan Easterbrooks, very funny comedian. If he's in your city, make sure you go see him. Thank you so much for coming on to the movie review.
Yeah, thanks, man. Having fun, having fun.
Yes, sir. Also, Ryan has a big Twitch following. Can you please let them know your Twitch?
Yeah, you can follow me on the Easter Bro on everything. Twitter, we got a Facebook page, got Instagram, all that stuff. The Easter Bro, Twitch. Follow me on the Easter Bro.
Nice, nice. The movie that we'll be reviewing is The Lighthouse. Ryan chose this movie. Before we get into it, this will be a 100% spoiler review. But before we spoil it, Ryan, do you believe they should watch it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those everyone should watch it at least once. Even if like you don't know anything about it, or even if it's like I don't know, like yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It's a weird movie. It's a very odd movie, but it's very artistic and very visually cool. Uh Check it out. Just check it out. And go
Uh,
into it with no expectations. Like don't like I'm not gonna tell you it's the best movie I ever saw. I'm not gonna say it's like awful, but just go into it with no expectations and just enjoy the ride. There's always movies like that.
yes, I completely agree with Ryan, guys. If you have not seen this movie, stop now. Like I said, this will be a complete spoiler review, and come back and watch it later because this is a movie that you don't want anything spoiled for you.
Yeah.
But I definitely believe it's worth the watch. All right, guys, everything past this point is 100% spoilers. My first question for you, Ryan, is: do you believe that this movie could have been made in color?
Huh. Damn. That's a hell of a question. Uh I'll say yeah, but it would have been a really different movie. It would have been a really different movie for sure, because part of the reason they went with the black and white, and you can tell as you're watching the movie, is the contrast. There would be these very, very white scenes that represented light, like the lighthouse. So the shot would be very white, very bright, very vivid. And then it also had this theme of no light. And what do you have when you have no light? You have darkness. And so they really played with that in the shots of like, this is going to be really dark, and then you might see a light coming out of the corner of the screen right here, and they played into that a lot. And what it is it represents the lighthouse shining out into the dark, over the dark ocean. And like they played with that a lot. But like, dang, when you asked that question, I was like, damn, that's a really deep question, because I was like, they probably could figure out a way to do that movie in color and keep those themes and shots alive somehow, but it would be totally different and it would have a different vibe. But I think they could be done. It would just end up being a different movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes complete sense. Um, Tone wise, though, I feel like without the black and white, this movie couldn't keep that tone. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I think in color, it would have you would have just got lost maybe, or not stayed engaged. But since I went for the black and white, and you don't see too many new movies in black and white, I think it really just captivates you as you watch it. It just sucks you in. You're like, why is this shit in black and white? Why are they shooting these shots the way they're shooting it? Why? And then you're just sucked in and you're just along for the ride. But like if it was in color, I think it might have just been another movie.
As exactly. I wanted to get to the cast. Um, what did you think of them?
Let's see. I love the cast. Like, so for those who don't know, it's just Robert Pattinson and William Defoe. It's just those two characters. And everyone knows Robert Pattinson as the Twilight guy. I mean, I'm sorry, like I know he's done other stuff. I know he's gonna be Batman. I know all this. When it comes down to it, you think Robert Pattinson, you think of shiny vampire dude. We all watch the Twilight movies. And so you're like, okay, he's gonna be the good guy, or he's gonna be the sweet guy, I guess. And then Willem Dafoe, you know him for just playing crazy stuff. He's always this like crazy older man, never know what to expect with him. And he always keeps you on the edge of your seat. So I thought they went really well together. Like I would see them in another movie together. Like they had really good chemistry. And so I thought the casting was perfect. And like also I was like, I had this thought, I was like, how is Robert Pattinson gonna do in this movie? Is he gonna be all right next to William Dafoe? And then he surprised me. I thought he killed it, man. Like I thought about Pattinson, he just came and he's like, I'm not just a vampire. I got acting chops too, and he brought it. And so
Very
I thought it
much,
was incredible. Yeah,
very much so. I completely agree. Uh, how much would you compare this movie to Whiplash?
Whiplash, huh? I don't know. I feel like Whiplash is one of those movies that gets compared to a lot, but I feel like Whiplash is always going to be one of those standalone movies. You know what I mean? Like another movie like that is like anytime you watch like a space type movie, everyone's like, oh, well, is it? Would you compare it to like Odyssey or something? And you're like, or 2001 Space Odyssey, and you're like, yeah, but at the end of the day, that movie's still like untouchable. So I feel like Whiplash is in that same category. It's like it's untouchable, but I could see similarities and like maybe even some influence. But I think Whiplash stands on its own.
Nice, nice. I completely agree. William Defoe's character. Um, William Defoe, in my opinion, just a scary guy. He's one of the few people that I think Weird Al said it best. He really didn't need that costume in the Spider-Man movie. Um, he's just a very scary guy. Do you think that helps his portrayal of this character?
Yeah, absolutely. When you were just saying that, I don't know, it made me think of you ever used to watch Courage Cowardly Dog?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it had Freaky Fred. I
yep.
don't know why, but like if you're listening to podcasts, look up Freaky Fred if you've never seen him from Courage Cowardly Dog. He looks like William Dafoe. He gives me the same vibes, and just that like he's just creepy. He's like it's like almost menacing, but then it's like it's that kind of creepy where it's like I don't know what this guy's about to do. And I think when it comes to like horror and scaring people and freaking people out, I think the scary stuff is like when you don't know what's about to happen. And I think William Dafoe delivers that as a character because you never know what he's about to do. And so in this movie, he goes mad and he goes crazy and they both do, but he really captures that because you're like, I don't know what this guy's about to do. And then he would surprise you.
Yes,
I
yes.
agree. Yeah.
Um, the backstory for both of them, explaining why they have to work together or why they have to be uh, beside each other, working together. Do you feel like that was a strong reason why?
Yeah, so oh man. I don't know if you know this, it's actually based on a true story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and I used to do this podcast called The Wicked Podcast, and we was based on. But I did this episode of this podcast um way before the movie even came out. So I was like, oh shit, we did a whole podcast episode about this movie coming out. Didn't even know it. But I think so since it's based off a true story, I do think it sets up as being believable and like, oh, this could happen. It's not. And since it's in like the 1890s, I believe, it's like, oh, this could totally happen back then, but like this same story, it would be kind of hard to tell in modern times, or it had to be like in a different setting, probably not a lighthouse or something, but like, you know, two guys trapped somewhere 2021, But yeah, I think it's believable and I think it was set up good. And just knowing it was based on true story kind of added to the wow factor.
Yes, yes. I just like the pacing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little slow at some parts because I think that's an A24 movie, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, if you've ever seen A24 movies, it's gonna have those long, drawn out shots, and you're like, man, why are they showing me the 2 minute shot of the rails of the stairs in the lighthouse? But then as you watch it, you're like, oh, there's definitely some meaning here. So I did think like it dragged, but then once I reminded myself, like, oh, this is an A24 film, man. You need to be paying attention to these shots and stuff. It kind of kept my head in the game. Um, that was kind of the vibe going in though. So the
Nice.
pacing, like it did feel a little drag, but it was like, all right, this is A24. We're gonna just hang in there and watch it.
Um, how'd you feel about the music?
The music, it's actually, I don't remember the music that much, honestly. Like I don't remember, like I want to say like it was like string music in the background or something, but I don't it wasn't super memorable because all I really took away was like the acting and the cinematography. So that's what the movie was to me. It wasn't a soundtrack movie. Like you think of other big movies like Inception. Inception's got kind of like a little bit of everything. Inception's like got the shots, it's got the actors, it's got the soundtrack. This one I didn't feel like it had a very like strong soundtrack, but I think it got the job done.
Yeah, whenever it's a Christopher Nolan movie, I just always go, it's gonna have that dum dum for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's gonna make sure he can slide it in there somewhere. It can be a kissing scene. He's gonna get it in there. Um, but yeah, we talk about the two lead characters. Uh, can you imagine anyone else in those roles?
Yeah, actually. I think huh. I think for William Defoe's character, I could definitely see someone like Michael Keaton doing that. Or maybe even like, I don't know why, but I feel like Jim Carrey could maybe play that role now that he's a little bit older and like I've seen him do some serious roles and I'm like I think that would be interesting because you're like, when are we gonna get like the Jim Carrey we know? Like I think he could pull it off. But those are the two actors that come to mind. For Robert Pattinson's role, man, I don't want to sell him short, but it's like I feel like a lot of actors could do, like I can imagine like Tom Holland playing that role, like the young guy who's kind of come and work at this lighthouse and get his ass kicked around. I could see Tom Holland doing that because I feel like we should keep the character British for some reason, but I could see him doing that too.
Nice, nice. The ending. Um, was it? Did it like the ending? Did was it abrupt to you? Because that's the only thing that came to me. The ending felt very abrupt.
Yeah, it did feel abrupt, but there was that moment where it goes from the second act to the third act where it just like, once that transition happens, it's the descent into madness, and that's what the movie does. The movie does the descent into madness, so that's why it's brief too. And I think if you like think about like psychology and stuff, and like people who go crazy and stuff, I feel like they have that breaking moment, like I mean, not to like rag on anyone, but like when Britney Spears was having her issues and like she had that moment where it's like, all right, she's kind of gone off the rails. She had that moment, and then it just, everything she did after that was so sudden and so unexpected. It's very similar to that, to those types of situations, which is unfortunate, but I think that's what the movie was going for, and it was sudden, but I think that is what it was going for, and it's realistic when you talk about like madness and going crazy and that sort of thing.
Nice, nice. Um, 1 through 10, what would you give this movie?
Mm. I'll give it. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 for sure. Yeah, nine
Nice,
out of
nice,
ten.
nice, nice. Do you believe that this movie will become a part of pop culture?
Huh. Um. No, because it wasn't. I feel like the movies that become part of pop culture are the blockbusters. I feel like the blockbuster movies, because that's what they're going for. They're trying to be mainstream, part of pop culture. And I feel like uh some movies are just like, I want to exist in the cinematography world, like I want to be great in that world. It's kind of like sometimes, since you do comedy, you see some of these comedians and it's like, oh, he wants to be a household name, like Kevin Hart or something. It's kind of like that, versus like comedians who are like, oh, I just want to be like funny, and like, you smaller comedians just crush. You're like, why aren't you famous? And it's like, that's not what they're going for. They just want to do their own thing. And so I feel like with the A24 movies, they're on the like doing their own thing category. And I feel like that's where that movie falls. It's like, we're not trying to be Inception, but we're trying to be this movie. And unfortunately not going to be a part of pop culture, but that's not what it was going for.
Nice, nice. Is there anything else you'd like to add on about the movie?
I'm really surprised that we've gone this far and like haven't talked about a mermaid's vagina once. I mean, when you said it's gonna be a spoiler review, I was like, well, we got to talk about some mermaid vagina because I saw it and I can't unsee it. And if you've seen the movie, I know you saw it too, so you just been over there quiet, like, yeah, I hope we don't talk about mermaid puss later.
No, please, please. Let's talk.
That was okay. So there's two dudes out on a lighthouse and they get lonely, they get horny, whatever. They haven't seen a woman in months. They go crazy, and dude starts getting obsessive about mermaid, siren calling you from the sea, the woman in the sea calling you, and he starts like hallucinating, and like he's like, man, and he gets obsessed with the idea of having sex with a mermaid. And finally, like towards the end of the movie, he's like out and he sees a mermaid, and you're like, is he imagining this or what's going on here? And then he's like obviously thinking about the mermaid in a sexual way, and then it just shows the mermaid up close, and it just shows a huge vagina like out the bottom half of her, and it was jarring. It was the most jarring thing in the movie, and it was just like I was watching with my buddies, and it was like we had that moment where like, hold up, pause the movie. What the hell did we just look at? And it's like it's one of the. It was so jarring. It was like I'm not even gonna go rewind it to look at it again because it was so jarring. But that exists in the movie. So like if you're interested in at least that, watch the movie because it is wild. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't talk about that, but we didn't need to, I guess, or we can move on.
Nah, I honestly I didn't know how to bring it up. I didn't know how to word it, but I'm glad you did because that is something that
You should just ask it like as an interview. You should be like, so what do you think about mermaid puss? Just like start asking that for every movie review you do, and then if they don't know, then be like, oh, I guess you ain't see the Lighthouse.
yeah. I am waiting for that Funko Pop figure.
Oh yeah. Put that one on the shelf.
Yes, yes. Oh, you haven't seen this. You have no idea.
A blow up doll. All right.
Oh man, that would be weird to find at a sex store and be like, oh man, you're not gonna believe it, but they have it. Uh, how do you know I'm lonely? There you go.
Like you couldn't
Oh,
just get the one that looked like a normal woman. You had to get the one that looked like a mermaid. Like, oh
yeah,
no.
yeah. Yes. Man, did you see that coming either? Because it just they talk about it, but it's not like, man, they're not gonna go that far, and then they do, and it's like, all right, this is where the budget went. This is
Yeah, like movies. I feel like movies are getting wilder. Like I've seen like 2 movies in the last 2 weeks that show jizz. I was like, what? Why is everybody showing jizz in their movies right now? Like, but I feel like they're going like movies are going for the like, what can we show that hasn't been shown before? And I 1,000% can't say I've ever seen mermaid puss in another movie. So they did it. I mean, they showed me something I've never seen before.
yeah. In some movies you look at and you be like, do they call Seth Rogen? Like, is this Seth Rogen's idea? And they were just like, throw it in. Let's see, let's see what he thinks. Um, well, man, thank you so much for coming on to the movie review. Can you please tell them again where they can follow you?
Yeah, just look up the Easter, like the holiday, bro. All just one word, the Easter bro. My name is Ryan Easterbrooks, so it's just kind of like my last name cut in half, the Easter bro. Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff. Follow me there. I will follow you back too. So yeah, catch me on there.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and have an amazing day.